The following program is rated D for dumb.
So much I can smell my own breath. My baby left me, my best friend's not at home. Can't get that woman off my mind. I've never been the brooding kind, but there's still one thing makes me come alive. Yeah.
The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Dave Canyon. Are you ready to dumb it down? All right, that's fantastic. I'm glad you're here. It'll be a fun show, a special show, a show where my tongue and my brain and my mouth and my lips all work together so I can form perfect sentences which will entertain you and enthrall you. At the very least, hopefully I'll be informative, entertaining, and compelling. Hey everybody, welcome to Dave's Dumbing It Down show. Wow, what a mess. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just talk? Let's do it again. Ready? Let's start. Go. Now the show begins. That was the icebreaker. Sometimes my icebreaker is 15 minutes. Today my icebreaker was like bloopers. Bloopers where I can't talk and I can't formulate thoughts and words and sentences. Hey everybody, welcome to Dumbing It Down with Dave. It is currently Tuesday. No, it's Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is January 22. January 22. It is let me see. It is 1:23 in the afternoon, and the sun's out. It's a beautiful sunny day in New York. The majority of my shows, if you go back to episode 1, except for some of them that I did at night, it's a beautiful sunny day in New York. I guess I really can't complain about the weather. It's a cold, sunny day in New York. But it's actually not as cold as it's been the last couple of days. I think we're going to get into the mid-30s today on January 22nd. Anyway, so I'm on my way home. I'm not working tonight, because I have this new schedule. I'm off on Saturdays and Sundays and Wednesdays, and I'm not working tonight, so I'm going home. If I was working, I would stay here. I'd be asleep already. But it's a little bit late. I had a big meeting, which is going to piggyback, I think is the word. I don't know if piggyback, but based on the last show, which was like 190 or 191, this is the show that's going to be part 2. Why are they out to get me part 2, we'll say. How about that? Maybe that's what I'll call it, unless I come up with something else a little bit more interesting. All right, so let's just get right to it. Why are they out to get me? Part 2. I said I had 2 juicy stories last week, and I was sitting on it because I wanted to wait till they both came to fruition, where I knew what the result was and whether or not I'd still be employed with my company. And I was not told about any gag order. And as far as I know, except for a couple of people, actually too many people, because of one person who told another person and so on and so forth, which, is really what I want in one respect, but not here at my job, So please, the people who are not telling somebody, tell somebody about Dumbing It Down with Dave, but not at my job. Let my life at my job be separate than my podcast and YouTube life. I would like that. But so far, nobody said anything to me as far as, hey, be careful. They're listening to you. Don't say this. Don't do this. And today, I just had a big meeting. And so everything came to fruition. Well, really only one of the 2 things, because one of the things was never even discussed. So I assume we're not going to discuss it. And I didn't bring it up, although it would be kind of funny if I come back on Thursday, and next thing you know, or I get a phone call, say, hey, tomorrow when you come back, we have to have a meeting about this other situation. But one of the big one's resolved. So let's get right to it. First of all, let me just say, that I apologize. If any of you were upset that I strung you along, I talked about how I hate to talk in code. I got something to talk about, but I can't talk about it. I wasn't trying to do anything. I really just felt like I could talk about the human behavior aspect of it, which I think I did a decent job, without getting too specific and without, because I didn't know how this was going to go. And I knew I was going to talk about it one way or the other. I just wanted this meeting to be over with, where I could tell you, hey, I'm on my way home for the very last time. I'm done with this job, or whatever the story is. So there's no gag order. Nobody told me not to talk about it. Of course, I'm not going to mention names. I've never mentioned the name of my company. So, and for those of you that know, don't say anything, because if you really enjoy the show, don't go telling other people that I'm talking about other people at my job, because I'm just going to be talking generalities. Generalities. Go ahead, you try it, smarty pants. You can't say it either. Generalities. Oh my God. Doesn't matter. I don't have to really be a very clear speaking English speaking person at 1:24 in the afternoon on a Wednesday on my way home after working 16, 17 hours. Anyway, so two things happened. One a little bit crazier than the other, but it all depends on how you look at it. So I'm driving a truck for my company, and I'm coming back off the road, and I'm in the yard of where I work. Small yard, not a big yard. There's a lot of facilities have way bigger yards. Like a Walmart yard is huge. This yard is small. I don't go very fast because you just can't, just kind of watch myself. There's people walking around. There's other guys going in the wrong direction, which I brought up 1,000 times in the last couple of days. Guys going through a do not enter sign. We actually have a do not enter sign. Guys don't pay attention to that. We have a direction. We have a counterclockwise direction in the yard. Nobody pays attention to that. People go wherever they want, do whatever they want, wear their seatbelt, don't wear their seatbelt, smoke, don't smoke, whatever. It's a free-for-all. But somehow Dave Canyon gets nailed. And Dave Canyon has gotten nailed before for infractions, but because a camera caught me. This time, a camera didn't catch me. Two supervisors, eager to climb up the ladder of success on my back. Of course, I was told that isn't true. I wasn't targeted. Which, listen, I don't want to sound like one of those guys like I just sounded like, yeah, on my back, they're going up the corporate ladder of success. Yeah, nothing's going to happen for them. Nobody is getting promoted because they write other people up for driver infractions. But my point in all of this was, in the 6 years I've been here, I'll be starting my 7th year in April. In the 6 years that I've been here, never ever have I, myself, or somebody else that I know of, I've never seen it happen, I never heard of it happening, where a supervisor would write up a driver based on something they saw. For 6 years now, well, actually 5 years, because the first year I was here, we were camera free. It's all been camera. Don't do this in the camera. Don't do this because the camera sees you. There's a whole point system with the camera. You get 3 violations in a year. The first is a verbal, second's a written, third's a suspension, whatever. The fourth one, you're fired. Whatever. It's camera. I don't recall anybody being pointed out by a supervisor, definitely not a dispatcher. That would be so Bush League. And I think this, in fact, was a rookie cop mistake. This supervisor is no rookie, but it's like a rookie cop mistake. Like, you definitely pulled the gun a little bit too early, or you panicked, or whatever you did. It didn't have to go this way. Could have been a man-to-man private conversation. But I pulled into the yard, and I'm driving through the yard in the proper direction, not like other guys, which if I had done it like the other guys, nobody would have seen me. I would have gone clockwise instead of counterclockwise. I would have went around the building and nobody would have seen me, which I'm almost compelled to do now just to piss people off. No, they won't piss them off because they won't see because everybody else does it and nobody gets in trouble for it. So I'm driving the yard and I got my Apple earbuds on, just like I do now. I wasn't doing a podcast. I just got off the phone with somebody. No, I was still on the phone with somebody, actually. And, but, you know, I've been doing this for years. Ever since I've had earphones. I used to have what they call a blue parrot, where you have, it's a famous headphone, for truckers. Well, anybody can have it, though. Blue parrot, anybody can buy it. But, you got an ear thing on one ear, and the other side is exposed, and you got a little microphone like those football coaches, the NFL coaches on the sideline. Got a big microphone in front of your face, or a little one, whatever. And it sounds fantastic. Noise canceling, all that good stuff. And it's hands-free, no wires. But this company can't do hands-free. This company's got to be above and beyond other companies. Other companies like UPS, one of the safest fleets in the nation. Drivers going up and down the road. They have a lot of rules at UPS. But one of the rules they don't have is that you're not allowed to be on the phone. At UPS, you're allowed to be on the phone. I know because I see these guys go up and down the road with the blinking blue light of the blue parrot. But not this company. This company had to take it one step further. Because they don't know about safety as far as they think they know. They don't know about human behavior. They don't know about energy. They only know about creating rules to make up for the fact that they're losing money. You know, to make up for whatever inconsistencies or whatever insecurities they have in their life. Let's pick on the driver. Let's not talk to the driver. Let's just make up a rule without consulting him, without asking what does he think. No. One bad apple spoils it for the whole wide world. And that's what happened. One driver did something stupid, and now we all have to pay for it. This is what this company does best. Knee-jerk reactions. One guy does something wrong, and then everybody has to pay the price. There's no treating everybody like an individual. Oh, Dave has been doing this for 30 years. He doesn't have a problem being on the phone. Look at that guy. He's been here for 12 years. Well, look at these guys all getting safety bonuses. They're not the problem. They're mature. They fill out their paperwork properly. They fuel their stuff. They clean their stuff. They maintain their stuff. If these two guys shared a tractor, that tractor would last forever. But anyway, so remember the movie My Cousin Vinny, where these two guys mistakenly get mistaken identity for like two murderers because they robbed the convenience store, these other guys, but it was like the same identical car supposedly and all this other stuff. And one of the witnesses said that they were cooking grits behind the window or something, or was it one of the witnesses? And he said, "This window, yeah, this window doesn't look like it's been cleaned in 5 years." Remember that scene from My Cousin Vinny? So Vinny goes around disproving everybody, they can't see or whatever. But these guys are doing a My Cousin Vinny on me. And they go, "Oh, who's that?" "Oh, it's Dave Canyon." "Oh, what's he got in his ears?" "Oh, he's got earbuds." "Well, I guess we got to write him up." No, we couldn't possibly wait for him to come inside and talk to him like a man, man to man, not go-getter, not backstabber, not, listen, you don't have to say, "Dave, but they were just doing their job." I know what they were doing. I know they were doing their job. Guess what? I was doing my job too. "Yeah, but Dave, there's certain rules that your company has." No, you know what? There are rules my company has, and they don't make sense. And that's not an excuse to break the rules. But I deal in pragmatism. In this particular case, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. And there is a reasonable amount of law breaking that I think humans are allowed to do. I think humans should be not only allowed to do, they should be encouraged to do. Because not all rules apply to all people. That is not an illogical statement. That is a logical statement. Not all rules apply to all people. Not all ideas, not all circumstances are applied the same to all people. They don't fit. Anyway, so I was told there was a zero tolerance and I was being written up. This was a guy who I've had no run-ins really with in the last 6 years. And in fact, I always got the impression when I did get caught on camera that he kind of felt bad about it. He goes, "Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous, but it's on camera, so I can't do anything about it." But that particular day, the truck I had no camera. It was almost encouraging to do whatever you want, which is how I felt. There's no camera. Why do I have to behave myself when there's no camera? Not that I was misbehaving, but I know how to drive. So I was kind of concerned, like, well, this really at this point is like a 5-day suspension, Dave. One more time, you're going to be terminated after this. And then later on that day, I sent a text saying, you know what? I don't know why this has to go to corporate. Why can't this be kept in-house? Why can't we deal with this like we did in the military? You keep it small. You keep it local. You don't go telling the admiral everything. I think I mentioned that in the previous episode. Anyway, it did go to corporate. Apparently a whole bunch of safety people were involved in this because the precedent was being set that there was no camera, that a driver got caught but not a camera, that somebody had seen me through the My Cousin Vinny windows. 2 supervisors together conspired. I'm going to use the word conspired, but whatever. I don't want you guys to think that, Dave, you're being a really spoiled baby, or, you're complaining, you're a whiner, you don't get it, you don't play by the rules, you create your own trouble. I know all those things. I've known all those things about me for a long time. I am not in denial. I know how the rules apply in the world of business. I have always said, I have not always said this, but I have said this for a long time now. So I'm being honest with you. It took me a while to get to this maturity. But the maturity I have is I understand the employee-employer relationship. I know how it works. They say, I do. I can think, but they don't have to react. Only I react. Only I do. I conform. Corporations, I don't have to do a thing for me. They just pay me, and that's really all they have to do. I guess they're supposed to give me medical coverage, but now I don't even use their medical coverage because I use my wife's. But I do have a plan, and my plan is to stay here for the next 4 to 6 years if necessary. 4 years, my wife has 10 years. So I do have a plan, and in order to fulfill that plan, I have to behave myself. So I was really upset about that because I was like, why is this guy writing me up? Why are you telling me about zero tolerance? Why don't we just have a conversation and say, Dave, listen, you're a good guy. You're a great guy. And you're a great employee, which he has said to me before. You're a valued employee. I don't want to lose you. So I don't want you to be in trouble. Just like a state trooper might pull you over and go, oh, you got a CDL? Oh, yeah, listen, man. Listen, I'm just going to give you a warning. All right? Somebody else without a CDL, I would have given him a ticket. But, I know that you have a CDL. You got to keep it clean. I don't want you to lose your job. It's not worth it. Just, if I see you again, I'm going to write you up. Why can't we have like a database that says, oh, all right, Dave was given a warning? He would say, my supervisor, yeah, but we had a verbal. I already gave you a verbal. But that was for something different. It's like all these things that I've been caught on are different forms of breaking the same rule but differently. It's hard to explain. It's about anything that's electronic in my truck. If it's not like the radio, then it's a violation. You can't touch it because the radio is the only thing that's really permanent. Like I could touch a light fixture. I could touch anything on the dashboard. Anything that's electronic, I can touch it. I can't touch a cell phone. And we have a handheld computer in the truck. You can't touch that too and get caught on camera, which is so ridiculous. It's a handheld. It's a piece of equipment that we use for work. Doesn't matter. You can't touch it and get caught on camera. Got to keep your hands to yourself. I'm going to start driving with one hand and sitting on the other hand. My nice warm tuchus is going to sit on my right hand. I'm going to drive with my left hand. So anyway, apparently a whole bunch of people were involved in this conversation because it was an unprecedented event. First time a driver in this facility ever got called out by a supervisor with a eyewitness as opposed to the camera. So instead of 5 days off, they gave me 3 days off. They're going to pick the 3 days. There'll be 3 days in a row. Which, I got to tell you, when you don't need the money, of course I need the money, but when you don't need the money, oh, great. 3 days in a row? Well, I only work 2 days in a row. So I'm going to have 5 days off. If they give me Monday, Tuesday, then I'll be off Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I come back Thursday. They're going to have to give me Thursday. Or if they give me Friday, it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Or if they give me Thursday, Friday, I'll be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back Monday. That's perfect. No, then I'll be off Monday because they got to give me 3 days in a row. So I'm going to have a great week. And as soon as they tell me, I got to figure out what's going on because I'm going to take a mini vacation. All right. So that's that story. So I was really upset by that. I hope you can understand. I am a 56-year-old professional truck driver. I've driven millions of miles. Not just thousands of miles. I've driven millions of miles. My last 3 years have been accident-free. I know how to do things. I know how to conduct myself at 2 o'clock in the morning. I work nights. I start at about 5 or 6 in the p.m., and I get done about somewhere between 6 and 8 to 9 a.m. And I would like my supervisor to have treated me with respect. Not because I'm one of the senior drivers now, because I'm like number 5 or number 6 in my division, but because this is not something you write somebody up for unless you think they pose a hazard. So I wonder if he thinks I pose a hazard. Like I'm unsafe. I'm out in denial. I know how the company sees it. But I need them to see it my way. And I know that's a losing battle. It's worse than City Hall. Because these are corporations and they're afraid of whatever. Being sued and all this other stuff. And it's funny because we joked about it when these cameras first got installed that they just did it to save insurance. They have to conform. Insurance companies don't want to see a corporation say, we're not putting cameras in our trucks. They want to hear that, of course, whatever it takes for us to be safe, we're along for the ride. Of course, you get a 10% discount now. But it's funny because no matter how much money they saved, we still filed Chapter 11. And when I talk about energy, so they didn't save enough money. And when I talk about energy, I can't even begin to tell you how many man hours have been spent on these cameras. And just think of the hours. Just in this conversation, we had like an hour and a half meeting today. They have other meetings on the phone. I mean, just a lot of time and negative energy. This is not a positive energy topic. It's like politics. I've said this before on the show. Nobody has a lengthy conversation of politics, even if you agree with each other, and walk out feeling great. Like, wow, what a great conversation about politics. I didn't know there were that many judicial branches of the government. I didn't know about legislative and judicial and exec. Wow, what a great day. We talk politics. Nobody ever walks away feeling that way. Usually people go in feeling better, and then they come out feeling worse or angrier. This camera has sucked the life out of this company and a lot of other companies. This has changed the face of trucking. It is a trucking show, I guess, today. And you have ruined people's lives. Not because they got fired, but you just have really taken the entire career and made it into something we never wanted. I can't speak for guys today, but in my day, I would think 99% of the guys that became truck drivers, other than other reasons, maybe we didn't do that well in school or whatever, but we like the idea of freedom. We like the idea of being out of the office. We like the idea of the road. We like seeing sunrises and sunsets. Some of us went across the road. Some of us, just did local. Some of us like to meet people, make deliveries. Whatever the reasons are. A lot of those reasons are gone now because now they're watching you all the time. And now, come to learn, when the camera isn't watching you, they're watching us as we drive through the yard, which they've never done before. Because guys are always going past that do not enter sign. Nobody ever gets in trouble. I see a lot of violations every day. Nobody gets in trouble. I got in trouble. So, I got to behave myself. And then I think there's 2 different dates I have to be aware of. And let me see. I think, is it May? I think next May 27th, one of my offenses drops off. And then September 9th, another one drops off. And then January 9th, another one drops off. So I got 3 dates. So next January 9th, if I'm a good boy, between now and then, I'll be home free again. And I can start violating rules and getting caught. And I'll just get another verbal and then a written whatever. So I have a year. A little bit less than a year for other violations. So that's what I was holding on to. All right. That's the one story. I hope I satisfied you, and I hope it was worth the wait. I find this to be a really ridiculous situation. I could just do, you know what? I'm going to save the next one because there's only 4 minutes left. I'm going to save the next thing for the next episode.
Dave.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's quite fine.
This is Hazel.
I'm glad you're here. What's up, Hazel? What can I do for you? How's your life today?
I think you should take a drink break.
I'm way ahead of you. Thank you, Hazel. Great job. Hey,
Feeling better now.
I am, and thank you for helping with the show. I think we're going to give some other people some opportunities. Hazel, you've been very busy. I'm going to try to poke around the AI world and see what I got available, and so enjoy your time off. You're not suspended. You're not in trouble. I just want to share the fun here. So there you go. To expand on the energy thing, I really believe in this particular case. By the way, I can pinpoint. It's not a by the way. It's an and. Also and. There is a direct. I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous episode. There is a direct correlation. Now, Pat is one of the drivers. He listens to the show. Jeff, I don't know if he still listens to the show. He doesn't comment. Not all the time. Not like Pat. There's a direct correlation between 5 years ago when the first cameras were installed, and they said to us, like Moses coming down from the mountain, these cameras will not be used for disciplinary measures. And then we looked at our boss. His name was Arnie. Was Arnie at the time. I can say it now because he doesn't work for us. And we looked at him, we rolled our eyes, we went, yeah, right. Sure. I go, no. These will just be used for coaching, just to help. But we already are CDLA quality. We don't need help. You already make us do that stupid Smith training. Well, if you don't know what Smith training is, don't worry about it. It's just some stupid thing that they think, like in a perfect utopian world, everybody would drive like these stupid training videos. Yeah, that doesn't really happen. Not in New York City, it doesn't. Not on the George Washington Bridge, it doesn't. Not on the Long Island Dragway, it doesn't. Stupid Smith training doesn't apply. It applies in St. Louis and I-95 in the middle of Nebraska. Doesn't apply to New York City and New Jersey and Newark. No. So, I mean, listen, again, I don't want to sound like one of those guys that everything is wrong, everything is bad, everything is stupid. I'm not in denial. I mean, I use Smith's system principles without even thinking about it. It's called common sense. Well, I guess some guys don't have common sense. So you have to have Smith training. I get it. I understand how it works. So, because people can't be left to their own devices. You can't be trusted. People can't be trusted. And there are some idiot truck drivers. But guess what? They'll eventually get into an accident. Maybe they'll kill somebody. Maybe they'll kill themselves. And then you fire them. That's how the world works, People die. It's unfortunate. Yeah, you get sued. It costs a lot of money. I know, you're trying to avoid that, right? Yeah, well, doesn't always happen. We actually had a driver rear-ended a tractor-trailer one day, falling asleep at the wheel. That didn't help him. We had another driver a couple of weeks ago. He fell asleep. He rolled his equipment. Not being able to be on the phone, having a camera, that didn't help him. But the negative energy of mistrust, the negative or no trust, mistrust, untrust, the negative energy of writing people up and when they lied about it not being used for disciplinary measures, the camera. And yeah, it totally is all about disciplinary measures. These are not used for coaching. They don't say, they give you a verbal, they give you a written, and then the 1 day suspension, and then 3 day, whatever, 5 day, and then so they give you opportunity to reform yourself, I guess. And my boss today in my meeting, he told me a story about his own personal truck, and something happened. He heard some noises, and I got to tell you, now I'm thinking about something else. The story made no sense. But he said, Dave, if I was wearing earphones, I never would have heard these sounds. I wouldn't have realized that my truck was falling apart. And I'm not really doing the story justice because I don't have time, but it really was a ridiculous story. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do you think when I have earphones on, I can't hear anything? I hear this van right now 100%. I'm taking the right earplug out of my ear. I don't hear anything more than myself. I hear myself louder. But the truck, the van, I hear the same. And you can feel it with your feet. You feel things. You hear things. Oh, crap. Guys, I'll see you next week. I'll see you next episode. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, Godspeed, good rats, and great skills. Take care.